Interestingly, 5 years or 7 or 8 years is no longer a very short period. I think there's so much of disruption happening within such short periods of time that I think we're finding it difficult to really keep pace on the change that is happening all around us. There's so much that's happened over the last 5, 7, 10 years. If you just look at some of the new age businesses, let's take Oyo, which we all talk about, founded in 2013. It is 6 years old and it has more than 200,000 rooms, which is the size of the inventory of the organized hospitality sector. Who would have thought this was possible? In such a short period of time. Not too long back, I think the apps that we are using today for all these bookings and for reaching out were just about starting about 10 years back. They were just about hitting the industry. But life has changed a lot, from that period of time. So what we're going to do today is we'll talk a little bit about legacy hoteling. We'll talk a little bit about technology adoption, on talent and the customer experience, and of course safety and security. To cover a few of the areas which I think will impact the industry. Dilip, I'm going to start with you on what you and I have often spoken about in many discussions. This is the whole issue about talent for the industry. And I think one of the areas that is going to impact us in a very serious manner is that the way and the rate at which growth is taking place, where is the talent to sort of keep, commensurate to the growth that's taking place? Increasingly, we find globally that students from hotel schools are not opting for hospitality careers, and they seem to be getting attracted by many of the new age businesses and alternate careers which are now to be available. Recently, I had gone to my college, the Institute of Hotel Management, Pullman New Delhi, which is the country's leading college for hospitality. I know, Dilip, you'd like to challenge it at some stage and occupy that space, but for now. And I was told that out of the 200 students that are graduating this year, only 12 have opted to work in the hospitality industry in the placements that have happened. And increasingly this seems to be an issue. So after a great career in actually running and managing hotels, I've chosen to be an educator. So I'd love to get your views on this.
Start the answer from good morning everybody. Actually some of my students are here. I can see some of our first year students who are interning in neighboring hotels. So some of you can ask them the question that will they opt to join the hotel industry or will they find better careers elsewhere? I think the issue is more fundamental. Some of you have heard me speak about this before, but you look at our industry, hotels, hospitality, but restricted so far. If I look at the gentlemen who are my peers sitting here, we're not hoteliers first. Let's not argue about that, right? And you look at ourselves over 30, 40 years, Mr. Bhandari is also here even longer, we've made ourselves a very insular industry. We think, or I used to think that I'm only good for hotels and I'm a great hotelier and that's what I do. You look at young managers, including people aspiring to become general managers, the trajectory of your expectations towards your career is very linear. I finished IHM Pusa, which indeed is a great school, I'll never dispute that. But I certainly won't want to take the place of IHM Pusa because a lot of what we're doing is to try and disrupt what that education actually does. So coming back, we have just seen ourselves here, so therefore, we don't have too many people who come into our industry from other sectors. The same insularity prevents us from going and trying to ply our trade elsewhere. Actually thinking of hospitality as underlying so much of what so many other businesses and sectors do. If I ask a question here of any general manager or even of my colleagues here, maybe Sanjay can take that question. Would you hire a director of food and beverage for your hotel who's not one day in his life worked in food and beverage or the hotel industry? You simply won't. Yet when you look at the JD of a director of F&B, the first page is entirely about you have leadership skills, team building skills, organizational skills, you know, the market. I mean, for that, the skill of the food and beverage is so much easier to lead somebody, but the ability to lead teams, to be future general managers, we want that in our JDs, but we will not hire. So that insularity, if you like, Manny, it's a cultural thing in many ways. It will take time to change. But if as an industry we want more students from PUSA to come to our industry than going to other sectors, then I think current leaders, general managers, heads of organizations, they need to seriously introspect about this. Because if this doesn't change, nothing will change down the line.
Sanjay, I think Dilip was trying to ask you a question. Well, you can answer that question. But in general, one of the things that I have noticed, and I don't know if you feel the same or not, is that our standards of hoteliering seem to be dropping, right? And one of the reasons I think that they are dropping is perhaps because of such rapid growth that has happened. We are moving people up very quickly, and maybe they're not really ready for that growth. And it comes back to the whole thing that are we going to continue looking at hiring from within the industry, or are we going to look at newer ways of dealing with this talent, given that it's going to be harder and harder to find talent from within the industry and from hotel schools, etc. So is there some thoughts that you have at Marriott on what you might do?
First of all, acceleration of careers in our hospitality business has increased many folds. It used to take a good 15 to 20 years before you actually took the leadership role of managing a hotel in the good old days. And these days, if you have not become a general manager in 5 to 8 years, there's something seriously wrong in that. And that's the belief which the industry has. And that's not only the belief, but the need of the industry in order to grow future leaders. But what it is coming at a cost is the experience, what it teaches you is missing. Having said that, how much of that is necessary is a great question as to how you manage your business. Today, I was very interestingly listening to Kapil's presentation on Postcard, and one of the things he said is, his whole pitch is about selling experiences. How would a person who's not interacted with people and touched and feel their experiences in a hotel for a little number of years will be able to deliver that experience is a question. So having said that, what goes on in a hotel school is absolutely mandatory. It serves the foundation, but at the same time, the experience what you get in hotels also creates an experience. But one thing which Dilip has done and is doing fabulously well as a disruptor, and probably is a suggestion, that we always send our students who study in hotel schools to hotels for exposure in terms of summer internship. I think there is time now for sending the hotel schools to go and do an internship in the 3 or 4 year course for at least about a month or two into another industry and go and see what the difference is. And then they will realize where the business is.
With your talent acquisition, you've added a lot of diversity, hiring from different regions where ordinarily people, you've actually gone and sourced people from various areas. You've also hired differently abled people in your sort of workforce. How's that worked out for you?
So it's worked out, how should I say, it's worked out brilliantly for the simple reason that, again, just like Dilip mentioned, you mentioned, there are paradigms of what kind of people you want to hire, and therefore you get fixated in that paradigm. The simple thing about hospitality is that you need to have an aptitude to engage with people, and you have to have an aptitude to serve people. It doesn't matter what education you had before. The rest can be taught as an overlay or can be supervised by somebody with knowledge. So, just in the two pieces of our work that we do with the differently abled people, as well as what we've done recently for the last couple of years, is we've identified another category where we call the socially and economically disabled people. So classically, hospitality would either hire from IHM or graduates. Then obviously graduates in IHM weren't coming to hotels, so all the international and the local companies said, we'll be okay with class 12, which then went down to class 10, but it stopped. We say if you've been educated even for class 3 or 4, but the economic condition of your family did not allow you to chase education anymore, we will both educate and train you. So today, between the differently able people and the economically and socially disabled section of our society, almost 20% of our payroll comes from them. What it does, and it's purely part of a business model. It's not for marketing, it's not to get certificates of honor. It is because these people stay with us, they learn quicker, they are much more, open to multi-skilling, because it's a business that's very open to them. They have no preconceptions, and we help them grow. And if they should then, after being trained both aptitudinally and in knowledge, find an employment opportunity out in any other company, we encourage that too. Because they make 3x the money that we pay them, but we've created ambassadors for culture and faith. So it may shock people that the differently able people all over the world are close to 10% of the total population. But a lot of them are eminently employable. We recently hired asset tag agents. We've just opened our category for transgenders after doing a lot of research to say, would there be acceptance on transgender, just socially? And we keep building up all these endeavors. Again, just from a business perspective, initially the employee costs us less because we are training. They stay with us for a longer time. We've created another vertical for employment. And we've also given them an opportunity to increase their self-esteem, self-worth, by creating an employment and a self-worth opportunity in society too. So it's a wonderful, engaged, culture of influence that goes along. Our attrition's down, and therefore it's sad. The second thing that we do is that whenever we hire people, even the lowest category, within the first 1 year, we try and categorize them in what we call super high achieving potential or high achieving potential. And then we individualize and customize a development program for them, the view being that in 18 to 20 months, they must switch roles or they must move roles. And so if the steel spine of this culture attrits less, the attrition of 40% is going to remain. But if these people who form the base of your culture and therefore carry your process forward can be protected, developed, and nurtured, they are the steel spine of the company that will then take the processes forward, because we also keep adding hotels all the time. So our attrition of these two categories is under 10%, while the general attrition across all other populations of employment, industry-wise, is over 40%. So it suits, it gives us a responsible return back to society, and of course, it is a great business model. And we found that to be a great learning for ourselves, because it's our barriers in the mind that we break. It's not the other way around.
I started my hoteliering career at that time when we hired people at entry levels in various operational departments or otherwise. I think the needs of the people at that time were very different, and they were very happy to be working in a nice enclosed air-conditioned environment. They got duty meal suite, they got a great uniform, they interacted with people, and I think they were reasonably happy to be employed in that fashion. I think today it's completely changed. I think we have a much younger, more informed, more educated workforce today, and their needs are far different from the needs that we had earlier on. So Rohit, one of the questions that I wanted to ask you is, given this huge new millennial workforce which seems to be taking over, and globally you see every industry changing the way workplaces are to accommodate the need of these new millennial workforce. Are we doing things like that in our industry as well? At Taj, are you doing some stuff which is changing the way people work in hotels?
I need to kind of break this down a little bit, because it's not just the millennial. When we talk about just the different levels, as people start working, they go through phases in life. So for me, it's about addressing each phase of a person who's going to be with you rather than just when they start. So, as an organization, I think we started a very simple system of giving enough time off for people. So we were one of the first few in the industry that moved from a 4-off day to a 6-off day in a month to give more time to people to spend with their families. We also are conscious of the fact that there are ladies who are working with us, working mothers, career ladies, have a lot of responsibilities. They double it. They do work at home, they look after their families, they also have a career. So we have a concept of work from home for lady colleagues, so that they don't have to get worried about whether it's right or wrong. Should I take a day off? Should I report in sick? Lie basically. They don't have to lie anymore. They have to just say they have a problem and they will be working from home. So flexible working hours is something that we feel is very helpful and appreciated by our colleagues. Another thing, like you rightly said, as millennials, there is a lot about engagement and how we communicate. Gone are the days of notice boards and newsletters. It's about having mobile apps. It's about having a proper online portal which allows exchange of ideas and news. So communication with our workforce is also changing. It's not the old-fashioned way, and including improvement of knowledge. Because earlier, I think all of us have been through that. We used to go through training sessions, spend one day in a training room with learning, and now they're called learning development managers. In our time, they're called training managers. And that was the traditional way of studying. Today, people want to study on the go, so we have mobile apps, we have online portal where people can educate themselves on the go. So that's providing flexibility people to learn when they want, at their time, their pace. So I think these are a couple of things that we are doing, which we believe have been helping us to keep ourselves in the business and also expand the way in which we are expanding at IHCL. We continue to attract people, and we are happy that our attrition is not as high as many others.
Fabulous. Arindam, in the mid-scale sector, and specifically where you run other people's hotels, do you face these kind of challenges where when you want them to invest more in staff cafeterias and their locker rooms and the general experience, or give them more time off or flexible work hours? Are owners supportive of this? Are you facing problems with this kind of thing going forward? This is going to become a huge issue.
So from a perspective of how we operate our upper upscale and upscale hotels, probably we are a bit lucky that way in terms of convincing our owners of the importance of what we believe is the right thing to do in terms of employee engagement and employee facilities. But I think there is a larger play here, and I'd like to focus a little bit. Of course, some great stuff spoken by the previous speakers with regards to strategic initiatives that are happening at the hospitality level and at the company level. But if you go down the brass tacks, it's all about the aspirations of the people. And as Rohit mentioned, the millennials and their aspiration levels are moving at breakneck speed. I think it's important for us as hoteliers in every company, whether we are operating in the upscale business or the luxury business, is to keep up with that aspiration. And those aspirations are very different from what we used to have when we passed out of college. It's primarily to do more with job enrichment. They need more challenges than what we were looking for. They probably are impatient in terms of growth, and so we need to find faster ways of growing these people. Of course, they are now interacting with a very different kind of industry outside the hotel industry, and they hear about it, they talk about it, and so they compare our business with the others. So I think the biggest challenge we have today, and which all of us will have to fight, is how do we keep up with the aspiration levels of growth, of learning, of job enrichment. And I know it's probably cliche to speak about it, but at some stage we need to speak about it as how do we make the industry more profitable so that we are able to derive better value to our employees. Because let's face it, we speak about people leaving the organizations, people leaving the industries and going out, and that's where we started, Mr. Lamba. And I think to some extent it's about how we are going to make the industry more profitable so that we can add more remunerational value. And I'm not saying only in terms of rupees and dollars, but it's more about how can we make the job more enriching for people. So I think two main areas, keeping up with their aspirations and making it more valuable for them to belong to this industry and not go into the other industries that they're probably switching to today.
Great, thanks. And I think there are a lot of challenges on the whole talent business and the manpower business going forward, but I think we've got a few views on how this is going to play out in the future and what stuff various companies and hotels are doing. Let's move to technology, which I think has become the buzzword for almost any business today and its survival in the long term. My sense is that our industry has been amongst the slowest to adopt technology in the manner that it probably should be. And of course, there are challenges when you are dealing with multiple hotels across the world, and how do you bring about the change rapidly in all those hotels. But having said that, I think the need of the hour or the need of the day and the need of the times is to very quickly adapt to technology. And that really is going to be the differentiator as we go forward. I'd like to get everybody's views on what really is happening in your respective areas on technology adoption. For example, today in most hotels that I go to, I still find it a challenge to be able to charge 4 devices that most people carry with them today. It's the phone, it's their sort of battery backup, it's their watch, and it's their iPad, sometimes 5th with the headphones. We still haven't even reached that level of enablement for people to do that. I still can't go and see a Netflix program of my choice in almost all the hotels that I travel to. And I think this is right at the bottom of the pyramid in terms of technology. So I'd be very interested to know what hotels are thinking and and how rapidly are we going to see some changes happen. We can start with you, Sanjay.
Thanks. Tech today is the heart and the arteries of the business in hospitality. In the olden days, it used to be the kitchen, from where the whole game started. Food delivery will continue, but if you do not bring in the right tech into your business, specifically of running hotels, you will be out of business. That's the way forward, number one. Number two, choice of technology. Bringing in the wrong technology into the hotel, which is not customer friendly, or the customer really doesn't care whether you have an Alexa in the room or not. But is it really serving the purpose what you're putting in and spending money in is the question. A lot of people in the olden days used to have voicemails. Today, if you ask me, should we even have a phone in the room? We have got away with phones in the bathroom because you don't really need a phone in the bathroom. But at the same time, is there anything else which you can come and give you a few, this is still work in progress?
We still haven't got rid of the letterheads and the envelopes level on the phone, so.
It's going. The new generation of rooms, what has happened is that in our part of the world, everything takes a little time. It takes you almost 7 to 10 years to build a hotel, but it takes you almost 20 years to renovate it. And that's where the problem is. The newer hotels which are coming in again with tech built into those hotels, which is still about 2 to 3 years away, or older technology than what is already in the US and Europe. Having said that, the new generation of rooms and the new generation of hotels which are coming in, they have a fairly decent amount of technology built in. It also depends on the hunger of the person who's leading a particular hotel, that how much is he engaged and is tech savvy to go and convince the owner to put in that money. Typically, I'll give you an NCR example. We can talk of technology, but there are hotels who have brought in now kiosks putting up in their hotel where you can actually go and rent your bowling cards. Now this is great and costing nothing. It helps the customer and it also helps the hotel because the customer doesn't need to go, or the guest doesn't need to go too early to the hotel. To give you a small example, technology which is in the development is, for example, when you take a shower in the shower cubicle in the US, it's still work in progress in our brain tree, which we call it. There is technology which is being developed that you can use the shower cubicle, which will have steam on it, to write anything and have it get converted into a document on your iPhone, on your smartphone, so that whenever you get those brilliant ideas when you're taking a shower, you actually capture it. It's coming in. It is not really far off. How much artificial intelligence will play the role? I think human intelligence will create artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence is the future.
Rohit, stuff happening at the Taj, new age stuff. Anything interesting that you're doing which would be a game changer?
So I think, I just want to take you back in time. In our industry, we have been very early adopters of technology, all right? Much unlike what most people believe. If you look at 1903, we opened the Taj Mahal in Mumbai. It was the first hotel with electricity and the first hotel with electric elevator. So the point is that there is some parts of technology which is part of doing business, making guests comfortable. I think that is something as an industry we have been doing for a long time. Very rightly said, newer construction, newer renovation allows you an opportunity to upgrade, because technology, as you know, you can buy a phone now and 5 seconds later there's a better phone available. So technology is a chasing game, it's never an end game. I think what's more important is how does it help the guest, how does it make his or her life more comfortable, how does it allow you to deliver the experience that you want. So for example, a mobile phone key. I don't know how mobile phone key works at the Pullman Palace. It doesn't make sense. So a guest who's coming to the Pullman Palace wants to experience the Royal Indian hospitality. He doesn't want to show the phone on the door. He would like the butler to open the door. So I think it's very important to fit technology into the business need, into the need of the guest. It is not important to chase technology. Can we do without technology? No. I think our emphasis today more is on the digital technology, where big data is very important, AI is very important, making sure your databases are correct, making sure that you're providing the basic minimum connectivity to your guests to allow them to do their business. I think that's the basic thing. There's not enough you can spend in it, and there is no mantra of how much to spend, when to spend. It is depending on the need, and it's depending on how much money you have.
Okay. I think somewhere we're still stuck in our legacy hotellery, and I think customer demographics are going to change very rapidly, and technology will become far more acceptable even to people who use Uber luxury hotels, is my belief. But simple things, when I make an airline booking, I can choose my seat. When I make a hotel booking, why can't I choose my room? And why is it so difficult on technology adoption for somebody to go onto an app, choose a room? If he wants a higher category rooms, he pays the differential like you would do when you're blocking your seat in an airline. Is that something that is too far-fetched, or do you think that is something that will happen?
So I think there are two legs that I'll stand on here. One, as hoteliers, do we know too much about technology, and do we really know where we want to go? The honest answer is we don't. And we don't have any great advice who can tell us that. The second part is, I think we all try and overcomplicate by trying to do everything for everybody. We can neither afford it, nor can we implement it. So I think we need to get serious about it. So the simple thing that I would say is, how does a customer try to reach you, and if you're going to make your sales experience seamless, then work on your website, work on your mobile site, work how quickly the person can get the customizable information and convert that into a transaction. And how seamless and how friendly is it for the customer of all ages is probably the first overlay. Just have enough blood points, because just a number, whatever table stakes for anybody, whether old, young or new, is what you need to simply put in terms of hardware. The rest can be overlays if again you've got your lease lines and you've got your domes on coverage, that everything else can be adapted, adopted or wedged. By trying to put all implements in the room from robots to AI to chatbots, you're only going to complicate your life and the return isn't going to come because there'll be various kinds of customers. So I think between the website, the app, the digitization of the quality and the base of experience, and just put the simple plug points in to make it simple, I think is the first thing we need to do. Showers up, showers no, dimmers up, dimmers no, beds rolling over all over the place. I mean, who really uses that? It's great marketing spiel, ain't gonna get us anywhere. We won't get the return. To answer your second question, which is why can't you pre-allot a room? It is possible. Without giving too much details, our new upscale grand hotel that we will be opening in Udaipur, we will be working on that tech, which is through an app, and therefore you can actually pre-block your room. We're so far not allowing ourselves to allow you to pre-check in and walk into your room just because of stupid CFOM regulation, and that you have to sign a reg card. But we'll get there, and then from then onwards, the entire transaction we are trying to enable through the app. In 2 stages, we should have it all done and dusted in the next 3 months. And if it works in the hotel in Udaipur, then initially the new brand hotels will all have it. And as we move along, the other hotels will find it more cost efficient to be able to evolve it. So we are nimbly working on that in the 2 tiers between mid-scale and what is upscale and what is possible for the segment of the customer that we can talk to. But we don't want to be everything to everybody and then make no money out of it.
Dilip, don't want to be everything to everybody, but are we trying to even get the basics right? What's your view on the simple things that we should be doing and which don't seem to be happening? While I think people are still talking about the larger things about predictive analysis and AI and machine learning and all of that, but the simple stuff which will make a very different customer experience is still probably missing from our hotels.
So interestingly, right at the beginning of our first year, we briefly asked brand new students, I think a couple of them are here, that if you were a guest and experiencing a stay in the year 2030 and thinking about tech today, some of it gimmicky, as Ratan said, most of it gimmicky, but some of it you have to take the bet that this is the tech of the future. So like my sense is voice is certainly a tech of the future. And then these students presented a project where clearly they done research, but the kind of things they used to deliver experience, all of it was experience which enhanced the customer stay and was not gimmicky. It had a purpose to it. So that's one point. The second point is, Nadeep, the question itself, fundamentally, when you say tech and are we adaptive as the industry, that's a very broad stroke when you say tech. When you look at tech for purposes of, let's say, big data analytics, my sense is that's where our industry is failing the most. A company with 100 million loyalty members, 50 million loyalty members, the ability to do that, to know your consumers better, deliver on what their expectations are, what experiences they want, I think that's where our industry has probably lagged behind. In terms of putting in gimmicky tech, I mean, in Starwood, our whole game was about gimmicky tech because that was our branding as an innovative company doing constantly new things. But yes, a lot of it was gimmicky, but that worked from positioning yourself as your brands, right? It wasn't really meant to enhance necessarily a guest experience. So if you break it up, I think we need to adapt to big data and analytics more. Today, all of us still estimate our customers and their needs and preferences. We simply don't believe that this massive amount of data can actually filter it out for us. That's the challenge of our industry.
But this is where the dichotomy is, that we are using big data to tell us that the customer wants to use Netflix in his room to be able to watch it, but we are not being able to provide that. And I think that is where the simpler things are getting missed.
Because providing Netflix connectivity in the room is actually more a function of engineering and technology. I mean, the tech is there. What is required, as Ratan said, plug point technology.
And
और Wi-Fi कितना strong आना चाहिए. The solutions are very easy. I just don't think we see technology for truly enhancing experience. I.e., I can get on my Netflix in 20 seconds and being in my room versus trying to be flashy and say that, you know what, this is going to be the future, our hotels should have it first. The biggest problem with technology is that hopefully you should never really have the first mover advantage. Technology in the future will become commoditized. When people ask me, particularly students ask me, will we have jobs in the future? The only USP any business of any kind will have is that domain connection. Because the tech will be there for everybody. Tech will be open source for everything and everybody.
Sure, agreed. Most of the travel for the younger millennials is all happening in mid-scale hotels, right? And that's where they want to be most tech savvy, they are tech savvy, and they want hotels to sort of be more adaptive to their needs. Is there stuff that is happening?
So I think we need to break technology into three parts. One is what's happening at the guest experience level in the rooms and stuff like that. I think the luxury hotels have spoken about it. And then secondly, use of technology is at the hotel operation levels, and that is where hotels like ours can be extremely beneficial because we need to use technology to make our hotels more efficient. And I know we're running short of time, so I'll just keep that short. But I think the third most important thing, which is what probably we are all in a sense grappling with, is the transformative technology in transactional, what's going to happen in transaction technology going forward. And my belief is that stuff like blockchain is probably going to come in and make even OTAs, and dare I say that in an August gathering like this, may make OTAs even redundant at some stage because people want to deal directly with the end user wants to deal directly with the organization. And that's what we need to watch out for, and I think we have a great opportunity going forward in using technology, which is what the future is.
All right, gentlemen, I think we've been told to wind up. I did want to talk about a little bit on safety and security, which is going to be another big concern as we go forward. With the way the world is changing and with all the terrorist attacks that are happening and other things that are happening, I think safety and security is another area which is going to be a huge going to determine the way things are going to happen in the future. There will be a cost as well. Okay, so I'm going to talk about safety and security. I think it's an important issue. Rathan, I remember the first time I came to your hotel in Aerocity, before you had actually opened it and you were stormed, for reasons that we're all aware of. I saw a very, very advanced security system that you had put into your hotel, and that was I think about 4 or 5 years back. Yeah, and I think it was a little before its time as well at that stage. Is that something that you're continuing to do, and how do you think the industry needs to react to this whole, because we are continue to be soft targets, and with what's happening in the world over, is security and safety going to be a big sort of cost or a big issue with hotels? And given the fact that let's look at leisure, I think the Airbnbs of the world and the vacation rentals are less prone to this kind of stuff. So is that going to be a shift with people opting to stay in those kind of places unless hotels really start becoming very, very proactive on safety and security?
So I think I put it in two parts, and it's a different judgment call. So many years ago when I was with BW Hotels, we had done an audit before the attack happened with a gentleman who was with the MI5. And when we finished all that, we started to put things in. One evening I asked him, I said, so Mark, what have we forgotten? And he looked at me, and this was at the hotel in Mumbai, and he said, do you like James Bond? I said, yes. So he took me across to the deck of the lobby, and we were looking at the governor's house. He said, imagine a rubber dinghy full of gunmen. I'm not sure as an industry there's much that we can do. We can be a little bit more aware, we can be a little bit more informed, we can be a little bit more trained to watch behavior. But hey, at the end of the day, you're not going to beat that guy or that set of people, as we learned, quite to our grief back in November 2008. So I don't think there's any ready answer, but talking about Aerocity, yes, we had the whole AI piece around tracking the person that would attack us. It was adopted by the PM's house. Did we want to take that further? It's expensive. But again, it was a judgment call for Dial because of the proximity to the airport, the risk of the location, and in the other locations. So far, we haven't seen it. Will that be the tech of the future? Maybe, if it's a little more cost effective. But you know, you sometimes can't protect yourself. That one event might hit you in a decade, and you know, put all your energy into it. I think vigilance, awareness, and training is possibly a better answer than trying to protect it.
Rohit, at the Taj Santa Cruz, I noticed that you had outsourced at some stage. I saw CRPF manning your security. Is that a call that you've taken for enhanced security measures?
No, that's very specific to that property because that property is a part of the airport building, and security over there is under the BCAS. So that is something that we really don't have an option. Actually, it's a directive. There's airport level security in that hotel, so you cannot enter the hotel without going through all the checks that are required while you're entering the airport. So it's something that we have, we obviously pay for it, it's a commercial arrangement, but that's the level of security we need to have, our rooms overlook.
And Sanjay, what's your view on enhanced security measures in hotels? Is that something that causes concern to you guys?
I think I will 100% agree with Mr. Keswani. It's very simple. In hospitality, the security is twofold. One is how to counter terrorism. That is, I think, a piece which is beyond anybody's control. We can only become a deterrent, but we cannot prevent it. Unfortunately, that we are not in a position, being unarmed, to prevent it. And even if we have armed guards, we probably still can't prevent it, because if somebody wants to give up their life to do something, they will do it no matter what happens. There's a second part to it in our business. It is more about FLS, which is fire, life and safety. So how you can prevent and make a safe environment for your guests is the key. How can you secure internal security of the hotel where there are no incidents taking place, no fights taking place, no unforeseen attacks happening, and so on. The accidents cannot happen, and how you prevent all that is the piece which I think is the key focus for any company. At the same time, there is a fairly decent amount of investment which goes putting in bollards, checkpoints, having these guards come in and outsourcing the security, which will continue. But do we have an answer for terrorism? No, we don't.
Philip, interesting question. Last one to you before we wind up.
Sorry, can I just ask the hoteliers? So, what are the security guards briefed to do when they pick up your bonnet and shut it, when they're going to pick up your boot and shut it, and most of the time they're not even looking? So, what do you think the briefing to them is? Can you just explain that?
I asked myself also the same.
But there is no hotel in there, isn't it?
I want to ask a simple.
I have asked this question many times. That has even the security guard seen how a bomb looks like.
Yeah. What's he going to do? I want to ask a simple question. Rohit, you're going to answer it. If he opens the boot and if he sees 2 or 3 or 4 AK-47s, what will he do?
In fact, I think this is a matter of great debate and jest. All of us believe that these gentlemen and ladies who are standing out in the scorching sun are basically just putting up a show. I think that's a little bit of a we're being disrespectful to people who are actually doing something that's very important. In security, and we are no experts, and I don't think anybody sitting on this panel is an expert in security. But what is most important is people try to avoid a place which looks as if it's prepared. So if this indicates to people that we are prepared and we have steps and it's not going to be a walk in a park, then people try to go to another place which will be a walk in the park. So this is more a deterrent. What are they going to do in case they find 5 AK-47s? We have a protocol to handle them. People are not just standing in the sun and opening and shutting bonnets for fun.
But Rohit, no, this is not fun. Obviously, it's not fun standing in the sun. But what is the outcome? I often see bonnet khola band kiya without even looking kiya, boot band kiya, khol kiya. If one knows that there is a logic behind it, as you say, then shouldn't the consumers and users also know that? I mean, till you just said that, actually we think it works as a deterrent. When I hear you say that, it makes sense. But I don't experience that when I'm a customer coming into a hotel. That was the point I was making.
Okay, we can have a long conversation that red thing is staring and we saying time is up. I don't want to hide behind that. So I think
We'll settle it
all of us are doing our best. None of us can afford an incident. The business cannot afford it, the unit cannot afford it, the industry cannot afford it, and as you see in Sri Lanka, the country cannot afford it.
Cannot afford, absolutely right. But Dilip, just the last question that I want to ask you. Is there some bit of this in your curriculum for students? Are you teaching them think on fire life safety and, and security?
There are modules on security
And
safety.
natural disasters and calamities and stuff like that? Is there?
Totally. And then they go through the regular fire drills which are conducted by where our campus is. Because they get a chance to go to the higher next door very often. But they have theoretical courses on fire and life safety as well.
But not necessarily security based stuff.
I mean, certainly, I don't think we have anything about how to manage terrorism or those kind of things, but basically when they study facilities management and planning, fire,
Food
life
for
safety.
thought. I think it's a nice module if somebody could put it together. Another final word to you.
I just want to make one last pertinent point, and it's more about the industry as a whole rather than individual units and how they manage fire life safety and security. I think when there is so much of growth happening across the management portfolio of all companies, one thing that we need to be very conscious about is, there is a cost to growth versus a cost of compromising on safety, security, and fire life safety. I'm very privileged to be working with a company like ITC, which has absolutely zero tolerance on fire life safety and stuff like that. So I think as an industry, we also need to start thinking about what's the extent of compromise we'll do to grow the organization when it comes to stuff like fire life safety and security.
Great, thank you so much.